Hi guys and girls, I'm Obsidian and welcome back to Elite Dangerous. Today we got our first look at the September update from Frontier's live stream that happened just a little while ago. And in this video I'm going to talk about some of the highlights that were in that live stream. So the September update is primarily, as we know, about the new player experience. Most of this began back in the April update and it's been extended in September. But also it's about the new currency, the new premium currency, I guess we could call it, that is coming to Elite Dangerous, called ARX. And this is a currency that you purchase with real world money. It allows you to buy cosmetics, not modules, not ships, not anything that is game balancing affecting, but purely cosmetics. And we can basically spend these on livery. Now there is a new livery screen, we can see that right here. It's accessible through the main menu. And what's new here, one of the things that's new, is the ability to check out every single ship in the game, regardless of whether you own it or not. You can also test out whatever cosmetics you want on those ships, whether it's ship kits like this, or paint jobs, or other cosmetics. Now, cosmetics themselves can be purchased from the Frontier store, or through the game. Frontier weren't exactly clear on that, but either way, you purchase these with real world money. It's very similar to how you purchase Frontier points currently on consoles, so if you're playing on either the Xbox or the PlayStation 4, nothing is really going to change for you except for the name of the things. They're going to be changed from Frontier points over to ARX, and if you do have Frontier points already, these will simply be converted over to the new ARX format. Of course, quite naturally, this is going to be somewhat of a bigger change for PC players who aren't used to premium currencies, at least in Elite Dangerous, but games like Warframe and many others out there are old hat when it comes to exactly this type of thing. Now, just as with other games, just like Warframe, you can now earn these premium currencies by playing the game. So if you don't want to buy any ARX, you don't have to. Instead, you'll actually be awarded them as you play Elite Dangerous. Now, we don't know yet how much you earn per particular activity. What we do know is that they will pay out as you're participating in various activities. So whether that's combat, exploration, mining, or whatever else, you will get a certain amount of ARX awarded to you, and these are capped per week at a limit of 400. Now, ARX that you don't spend or don't use are rolled over, that you don't lose them, so you can keep building them up until you've got enough to go out and buy the cosmetic that you're actually interested in. So the real question perhaps comes down to how many ARX does it actually require to purchase a paint pack, and what actual real world currency do ARX themselves cost. So Frontier have released this information, and you can see it on the screen right here. 5,000 ARX cost £3 or $4 US. 16,800 ARX cost £10 or $13, and it goes all the way up to, in multiple stages, to 85,000 ARX, which cost £50 or $60 US. Now these are PC prices. Frontier say that ARX prices on consoles will vary from market to market and be based on console platform specifications. So no real telling what that means, but I would imagine the prices won't be too different, at least for those players within the UK, US, Europe, and those types of locations. Now the real question really is, how much does a paint job cost in terms of ARX? Now this is something that Frontier's not yet been announced. They've announced how much ARX themselves cost in terms of real world currencies, but they haven't announced how much a ship kit costs or a paint job costs in terms of the ARX themselves. Now I am going to go out on a limb here and speculate a little, and do keep in mind that this is speculation, as there's no information whatsoever as to how many ARX a paint job or indeed anything else will actually cost. But people are going to speculate, so I don't see the issue with me doing it here. So paint jobs on the Frontier store begin at £1, that's just for a basic one, and if you can get 5,000 ARX points for £3, then you'd need to divide that by 3 in order to work out how many points, how many ARX points rather, you'd need for a £1 paint job. Basically, if Frontier were to round down a little bit, that essentially means 1,600 ARX would buy you a £1 paint job. With the current 400 point cap per week in terms of ARX, that means it would take you 4 weeks to earn a £1 paint job. It would also mean it would take you 32 weeks to earn a ship kit. So yes, assuming this speculation is even correct, that does seem to be a little bit on the harsh side, and yes, that is indeed an understatement. The counter-argument to this, of course, from some people will no doubt be that Frontier are now giving free things out in the forms of earnable cosmetics, something that we previously didn't have, so that is a positive. But I'm not going to give an opinion on how I feel about this just yet, because that opinion would be based on speculation and not fact. So let's wait and see what Frontier have to actually say about this when they announce the final prices. Now, the new Arc system and the new cosmetic system are not the only thing coming in the September update. There are some other things here, but these are mainly or entirely focused at new players. So for experienced players, these are probably not going to be of too much interest. But for new players and for players that haven't had the game for too long, these are pretty significant indeed and essentially change how players are introduced to the game. Elite Dangerous, of course, does have a very steep learning curve, and the tutorials now take you fully voice acted with guidance. As you can see, there's on-screen instructions here with objectives in the top left or the top right info panel that will update as you achieve the specific objectives. Right here you can see they're in the starter station, and the tutorial takes you through the auto undocking process. After that you go through some flight training. This just gets you used to the controllers, and then later on you have to fly through some hoops which will basically establish your ability to fly the ship. There's also a small update here to the UI. In fact, there's a few of them. You can see the chevrons now in the speed box down near the HUD, or the radar rather, actually indicate the ship direction that your ship is traveling in. The training also takes you through a number of other basic activities, such as selecting targets, approaching them, targeting them, and getting into a firefight with elements on a megaship, as well as getting into combat with sidewinders. It also takes you through navigation in supercruise, hyperspace, and finally docking at a space station. At which point the training will resume at the point it did in April, where you select your commander name and ship name. So that essentially covers what we can expect to see in the September update. And it's of course one of these smaller updates. There's a slightly bigger one coming in December with the fleet carriers. But as for this update, do let me know your thoughts and feelings in the video description below, particularly in reference to arcs. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys and girls next time.